You know, I can't think of a better way to close out the last month until February without Lions football than to make another pass rusher video. That's right. The Detroit Lions play in the Hall of Fame game on July 31st. So technically, beginning in July, which is tomorrow from the making of this video, we will have Lions football until February of next year, hopefully, if all goes right. And speaking of playing football in February, if this move was to happen, the Detroit Lions would definitely, in my humble opinion, be doing that. What am I referring to? Well, unless you've been sleeping under a rock, the Pittsburgh Steelers decided to trade for Jalen Ramsey from the Miami Dolphins. They wind up sending Minkah Fitzpatrick, who came from Miami. He went back to Miami like Will Smith, and they got Jalen Ramsey. They also, the Steelers, that is, decided to trade for a tight end in Jonnu Smith. Now, you might be like, well, what does that have to do with TJ Watt? Well, it has everything to do with TJ Watt because TJ Watt is not happy, according to Adam Schefter. Check this out. This is coming from Adam Schefter's Twitter account. It says, sources, in recent weeks, multiple teams have been discussing whether they can trade for Steelers standout TJ Watt, who skipped the team's most recent minicamp. Pittsburgh hasn't shown any willingness to deal Watt so far, but he's unhappy with this contractual situation, and sources believe outside team interest is likely to increase given today's trade. And check this out. The Steelers are taking on the bulk of new cornerback Jalen Ramsey's $26.6 million contract. Dolphins responsible for a smaller portion. So from what I understand, Jalen Ramsey is also going to get a pay increase of $1.5 million. Now you have a guy that is basically holding out with the desire to be paid. And I understand, I know what you mean. The Detroit Lions are in a sticky situation, but I'm going to keep it a buck. That's not my concern. I'm not worried about the salary cap. That's Brad Holmes' job, and everybody else, that's them. So their job, my job is to root for them and pay for tickets and buy merchandise. Their job is to bring us a winner and keep us under the cap if possible. All right, but which one would you prefer? Would you prefer, Lions fans be killing me. Y'all be like, I want to build a dynasty. I don't want him to mortgage the future. I don't want him to sell the farm. But yet we ain't won nothing. We ain't even been on the farm, bruh. We don't even know. We're not even in the stalls. What are we talking about? Y'all talking about selling farms and mortgage in the future. We live in a shack. We live in an apartment. We leasing right now. We don't even have a mortgage. Talk to me when we win a Super Bowl. When we get to a Super Bowl. Stop the cap, bruh. That's Brad Holmes' job. His job is to play that game, that balancing game. That ain't my concern. I'm doing my job, which is being a fan and being critical of the team. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. All right, he can worry about that. I'll do what I've been doing. But check this out. So not only did you trade for a guy who had, you're going to eat $26.6 million in his contract. You gave him, according to reports, a pay increase. You got one of the best pass rushers in the NFL waiting on a contract, and you too busy paying over the hill or, past their prime cornerbacks. Now, don't get it twisted. A couple years ago, we were in the running for Jalen Ramsey when he was initially traded from the Rams, and that would have been great, but that time is past. That time is past. By the way, Jalen Ramsey broke his own news today. But check this out. I think it's a little beef between networks because Tom Pelissero then comes out and says the Steelers have no intention of trading star pass rusher TJ Watt, and their focus remains on extending Watt's contract per sources. Watt, who turns 31 in October, is due $21.5 million in the last year of his current deal. So not only do you take money that could have gone to him and you give it to a cornerback that's also over 30, you ain't even, what we doing here? What we doing here? Shouldn't TJ Watt be the first concern for the Steelers? And I like how Tom came in and said they got no intention of trading TJ Watt. Well, you know what? I had no intention of getting a divorce either. And that happened. So, we can't always get what we want. Now, you guys, we've been on record. There's two things that's been on record. One is I have said long time ago, in my pass rusher pantheon, it would have been Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Trey Hendrickson, and then Max Crosby. Miles, Max are off the table. I have no idea what's happening with Trey, but TJ is obviously unhappy. Now, the question that I have for you is, do you think Bradley Mathias, Jerome, Cornelius Holmes called as one of the teams that called about TJ Watt? Now, of course, we would all love Zadarius Smith to come back, and that's probably the most likely thing to happen. And I'm not spreading false hope or a false narrative. According to Adam Schefter, teams have called, and our team could be one of them. And I hope that they were. All Brad can do is try. That's all he can do when it's in his control. All he can do is try, right? So do you think that Brad Holmes called? And what do you think is going to happen with TJ Watt and the Steelers? I mean, it's obvious that I think pass rushers, in a way, have become the new running back. Remember a couple years ago, running backs were very underappreciated. Now, of course, they don't get paid the same as a pass rusher, but they're very underappreciated. And there's a lot to consider here with the Detroit Lions. We got a lot. It's probably unlikely. I mean, we still have to extend Aiden Hutchinson. We have Jahmyr Gibbs, Brian Branch, Sam Laporta, Jack Campbell. We have Malcolm Rodriguez. We're going to have to figure out what to do. So this is highly, highly unlikely. But I tell you what, you and everybody you know would be screaming Super Bowl if the Detroit Lions were to pull off a TJ Watt trade. We were so desperate last year, we tried to get his brother to come out of retirement. And our team has not changed. Ahmed Hassanein, I'm sure he'll be fine for a 6th-round pick. He's got to develop. He's got to get there. And I'm sure he's going to do an outstanding job. But I'm calling cap on anybody in the comment section that say they wouldn't literally run out the house if this was to happen. You would not be screaming if you're not talking about Super Bowl. And I'm not the Kool-Aid Super Bowl screamer. I'm not that guy. I would start after this, like I said before. And don't forget, remember what TJ Watt said? Allegedly, he told a random NFL player that he would play, if there was any coach outside of Mike Tomlin that he would play for, it would be our coach, Dan Campbell. Take that with a grain of salt. I believe he would say something like that. Dan Campbell is that dude. And now other player coaches are trying to mimic his style. We saw it with Antonio, what's his name? Antonio, the guy, the old Raiders coach who's unemployed at the moment, I believe. We saw it and we've seen it. We've seen coaches be more willing to be themselves and be free in their coaching style. So I don't know, but the Steelers are doing weird things this year. You sign Aaron Rodgers after he was putzing you around. You trade Minkah Fitzpatrick. You trade for Jalen Ramsey. You trade for in the same day, just 30 minutes later, you trade for Jonnu Smith. And now you're not paying your guy. Very weird energy from the Steelers this year. I don't know if that means Mike Tomlin is on his way out or things are getting shaky over there. But now would be a time. I know what the Steelers say they have no intentions of doing. But I also know that TJ is probably going to hold his ground and want to be paid. I don't think we could be that team. Well, I think we could be that team. Will we be that team? No. I'm a believer that teams can do whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. I mean, if you're allowed to go, if you're able to go $100 million over the cap, then there is no such thing as cap. Yeah, you get penalized for that. No, I don't want the Detroit Lions to do that. And yeah, we got a lot of stuff to worry about in the next couple of years, but I would throw all of that in the kitchen sink for one Super Bowl. It is, man. Let me get to the mountaintop one time. Now, if you could see the future and you told me that, Brad, we will have a dynasty, that we will win 2 in a row, and then we'll win 3 in 5 years, and then we'll have 7 in 10 or 5 in 10 years, then okay, I'll take it. I will wait until this dynasty is built. But in the meantime, if you giving me one, I'm gonna take it. And now we can lead them other 3 teams, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Houston Texans, and the Cleveland Browns as the only 3 teams to never appear in the Super Bowl. And we can get out of the NFC basement as the only NFC team to never appear in the Super Bowl. See, once that changes, then my attitude will change. But let me know what you think in the comments below. I think it's kind of funny. Tom Pelissero, NFL Network, Adam Schefter, ESPN, a little rivalry there. And Tom quickly came up and said that the Steelers have no intention of trading star pass rusher TJ Watt. But like I said, I intended to say married and only have one wife. But then, well, I only had one wife, but you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah. I don't even think that's allowed here. Anyway, this channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because of your support I get to do what I do. You can be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. The store, after all of that, is now available. I wanted to make sure that we were early as opposed to late. You have to go through a clearance process when you upload a design. And they said it could take 28 to 48 hours. So I got a little spooked and I was like, well, you know, I said I was going to launch it this day at this time and then have to do that and then have to wait 48 hours, up to 48 hours to get everything approved. So I just released it now. So you will see a store, and yes, the store is available. Make sure you check. There will be some promo codes and stuff like that. There is 5% off orders 75 and under until next Monday, July 6th. You get free shipping on 75 or over. All right, that'll run through the 5%, and members check your tab as well. But the 5% will run through next Monday, July the 6th. And then after that, it will remain free shipping over 75. All right, you guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.